right, well, here we are getting ready to pack up and head to Naples, Florida. And we have to get all of this sitting here on those two rigs.
Yep.
So we got our campsite all packed up, and now we're going to do a magic trick and put all of that in those two rigs so we can head down the road.
Tetris Extreme.
Yep, real life Tetris.
Yep.
One loaded out, one to go. It wasn't recording. Let's unpack it all and do it again.
Not gonna happen. Not till the next time.
It's all packed up. We'll tuck the corners in, tighten everything up before we hit the road. See, the table's empty. The only thing we got left over here is we got to put on our suntan lotion and our mosquito Zitka blocker. A few paper towels to dry off with. One of my helmet cams still laying there. And what's the deal with the pants in the bag there? What's the deal with that?
Pants in the bag.
Yeah. What's the deal with that again?
Pants in the bag. Okay.
What's the deal with that again?
I tried to get my bike into first. Because of the new clutch and I'm not familiar with it, I couldn't get it into first.
So what did you do? You calmly evaluated the situation. You started kicking at it, didn't you?
Yeah, just a little bit.
And then what did you get hung in your foot? Fuel line, I think it was?
Yes, fuel line. And it dumped about a quart of fuel on my pants, my shoe.
The left shoe still smells like gasoline.
And a sock. A moisture wicking sock.
Yeah. So that's what's in the bag over there are gasoline soaked pants.
But I have the foresight of putting burn cream in my rig, and it works wonders.
So I closed it off, got the fuel line back on.
Taught me how to get my bike into first after it gets hung up like that.
Yeah. All right, but we're packed up and ready to go. So
life is a learning curve.
We got to pack the camera up now. That was it goes in my trunk right there in that gray bag that you saw, so that'll pack the camera in. And we're going to hit the road and head off to Okeechobee. And after Okeechobee, we're going down to Naples. We burked. I can't talk this morning. We booked for the first time on Airbnb. Never used Airbnb before, so we're going to give that a shot and see if we get a nice house or, an axe murderer or something. But, yeah, we're going to see how it goes, but we're staying in Naples tonight, and then we'll head out in the morning and head over toward Homestead or Key West or something. Alligator Alley, that's right. And now it's time for us to head down the road to Naples, Florida. Leaving out of the backfield here at Holopaw Ural. Again, we thank Gene for hosting us here. We stayed a couple of days. Great little place to camp out, wonderful campsite, and we enjoyed it again when we went back for the Hug Rally in early December. There always seems to be a little bit of apprehension when you head out on the road, but that just melts away as everything settles in and you're cruising down the highway and enjoying your time and your thoughts. We do have intercoms in our helmets so we can talk to each other. We can also listen to our MP3 music from our phones, and we can listen to FM radio. And on this trip, I am using my Android phone with Google Maps for all the GPS navigation. We just punch up the next destination we want to go to and follow it, pretty much. But we don't always follow it. Sometimes we just decide to go somewhere else. We'll turn, we'll see something of interest. That's kind of what this trip's about. And we don't worry about it too much. Google Maps continues to route us to our destination, so whenever we're through looking at whatever we turned off to look at, we just continue following it to where we're going. And if you want to skip ahead, this next segment is a writing segment set to music with the beat cuts where the audio, every time a beat occurs, the video changes, time lapse. If you like watching that, you're welcome to. I know some people enjoy these, I do, but feel free to skip ahead. to Okeechobee, Florida, fueled up, and then headed down the road a little bit to the Okeechobee Campground and Marina. It's just off the shore of Lake Okeechobee. We turned in. Now, by all appearances, this used to be a fantastic marina, but it has, I guess, sort of died. There's actually articles online about its revitalization. They're going to sell off part of it and try to get the campground going again, I guess. But we stopped here near the Coast Guard station that was just off to the side, and we sat out in the shade under the few trees that were there and had us a lunch on the road. The Lake Okeechobee is a shallow lake, a huge lake, but shallow, right in the middle of Florida. And I was born down here, and I have memories of my father taking me out on a tri-hull boat out in Lake Okeechobee. And we got stuck on a sandbar, and we're out there where you really can't see land, and he just hops out of the boat and starts dragging it along, walking. So, it's a challenging lake to navigate sometimes. So you got to be careful if you go out there, but it's just a beautiful lake with a breeze blowing off of it, and it's just hard to believe you can be out in the middle of something so large and get out and walk around. But it's time for us to head on out and head down to Naples. Now, on the trip down, we had a good ride, but we did encounter a little bit of rain, and it looked like it was going to be raining for a while. Even the radar showed a huge patch of rain and clouds. So we pulled off to the side and suited up in our full rain gear. Now all suited up, we got ready to hit the road, confident we weren't going to get wet because we had our nice bright yellow rain gear on. So off down the highway we went. And less than 5 minutes later, I kid you not, the clouds opened a bright, sunshiny sky. We still had confidence it was going to keep raining, but nope, it cleared up, dried up, and it got hot. So we actually did pull off to the side, and we took our rain gear off, put it back up, and then less than 5 minutes later, it was raining again. So we just kept going. We got wet. We kept our phone wrapped up. We got wet. We went on down to, I believe this was in Ocala, Florida, however you pronounce that, Ocala, Florida. We got fuel, and then we got back on the road and we continued our trip to Naples. Now the rest of our trip in was fairly uneventful. We went on down to Naples and had our first experience with Airbnb. And I wanted to talk a little bit about Airbnb since this was our first use of it. And when we left on the trip, we knew we were going to be gone for about 25 days. We knew that we didn't exactly have a tremendous budget to stay in a $100 or $150 a night hotel. So that's the first reason that we went to look at Airbnb. Wasn't sure what to expect, but we were trying to save money. But I have to say that it's not just a great way to save a little money, it's actually a great way to stay places. We had a fantastic experience in Naples. Our host's name was Anthony, and they're still listed on Airbnb. Feel free if you're going to Naples to check them out. But the way we handled it is we used the app. We searched for the basic area that we wanted to go stay in, and then we would search through the listings and see what the reviews were and choose one, and we would send off a query to ask them if it was available for the night that we wanted. We generally did this 1, maybe 2 days in advance because we didn't want to plan too far ahead out, and this was the first one. We were really surprised. It was very well done. You can see we're turning around. We had a little bit of trouble finding it in the area where he was, but not bad. Just had to circle back around, make sure we had the right place, and once we found it, it was fantastic. It was a better deal than a 5-star hotel. I mean, they really put a lot of effort into it and really did a fantastic job hosting us and making sure that we were happy there and had everything that we needed. All in all, I would highly recommend using Airbnb. Just check out the places you want to stay, check out the reviews, send questions to the hosts. We used it a couple of more times on this trip, and every time it just turned out great. I think it's a great way to have a room and find a place to stay. And once we got all checked in, we went out to dinner at Buzz's Lighthouse there at Vanderbilt Beach. We had a good evening there. Then we walked over to the beach and enjoyed watching a sunset. After that, we headed back to Anthony's place, and we really had a great evening there. I'd like to thank Anthony again, if he's watching, for hosting us. We had a great time. And we hope you're enjoying our videos. Please like and subscribe. It helps us out. We get your views, advertisers, pay us a little bit of money so we can buy some gas to put in the bikes, and we can head off for our next adventure. So be sure to like and subscribe and see what happens next time down off Highway 41. The Florida Everglades, we go on an airboat ride. Got to check that out.